the different fights you're going to have to take from potential low ground if you are pushing in and rotating late. Whereas those who have been able to get in early, they've been able to set up, they're going to have a very successful time at gatekeeping those that are going to be pushing in. But still 20 squads remaining. This is what we're used to. I think last week was a little bit different, and we had a spanner thrown in the works for sure, but only 2 players have been eliminated so far. And I think this is what we've come to expect. Teams that are a little bit more comfortable with where other players are going to be dropping, where the teams are going to be rotating, and just not taking any unnecessary fights. I've said that the teams that do have the Revenant have been the ones that have been looking for those engagements. They've been the ones that have been looking to try and get those kill points. But you're completely right. People are just running away from Revenant. As soon as you hear that totem or you see one of those players totemed up, you get the hell out of there. You just got to make sure you're not running into another team when you do so.
You can see Denze here for SJP2, the team who were promoted into the Alpha Division. Incredibly talented lineup. Has the Kraber in his hands. He's desperately just trying to find a shot to try and get it down and then probably try and initiate a push for his team. But at the moment, no one's given him that angle. So you can see him trying to relocate. But the problem is, when you've got 20 squads remaining in such a tight area, it means that finding those angles is going to be more and more difficult because there's always going to be a team trying to locate their crosshairs onto you, watching different angles. And if he does hit this shot, it's going to be an impressive one for sure.
Well, Papega Gibbo. I've said it correctly 4 times now, so I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. They were one of the teams that showed aggression as well last week. They picked up an incredible amount of kills. They actually finished with 31 total kills, which was the same amount as SJP2 managed in the Bravo lobby, by the way. But their placement points did let them down ever so slightly. They still were able to finish in 3rd, but they just didn't have the same amount of placement points that we saw from Nasky, Strafe and Dell and Flavor of the Month. They actually had half the placement points that Flavor of the Month did. So if they can add those placements alongside those kills, there's no reason why they can't be topping these lobbies as well.
Alliance now being forced to retreat, and you can see Hackis is going to have to use not only his ult, but also his Q to get out of dodge here because IPN has been dropped. And look at the pain that's coming on to Vaves as well. He's trying to get out of dodge, but all these buildings are pretty much taken at the moment. So it looks like Alliance are really struggling here to find a little bit of an area to locate themselves and heal up. They've lost IPN, they've lost their Caustic, and as we know, if you can get that Caustic to the end game, which is pretty much Alliance's tried and trusted technique here in Apex Legends, that's where they have their success. So getting IPN down is huge for the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance's composition is completely set up for getting to the endgame lobby. Denze is going to have shots here, but he goes down. Alliance were able to spot him out. He had 2 players in his sightlines, but he just wasn't quick enough, and he got shot from the right-hand side. So Alliance have been able to pick up 1. They can go and get aggressive here. They can get the kill point to follow, and they can pick up the weapons if they would like. Hackis is going to pick himself up the Kraber, 7 bullets to work with, but they're not going to be able to get the Caustic at this rate. They just need to be thinking about rotation smart. They need to find themselves in a safe spot, but they are in such a difficult position at the moment because they can be seen from so many angles. But it seems like they might have found a little bit of a home here behind the ice, but with gold armor to work with, a Kraber in the hand, they could position themselves nicely. They just need to find somewhere to home.
Yeah, now we're really starting to see the action kick off because the hotel is fully booked at the moment here in Fragment East, and if you want a room, you're going to have to fight for it. Kuya now on the scout does manage to put some damage down, but I'm looking at the feed here, and LG are starting to pick up some kills themselves, and they weren't on the best armor situation as well. So for them, kills at this point in the game are absolutely huge. They have lost Rugby, however, getting some loot that they can work with towards the end game is going to be super important. You can see the gold bag being transferred over to the Gibraltar player as well with that quick res in the bubble. Very, very smart idea coming in here from LG, making the most of the loot that they've managed to pick up.
And usually you'd probably be thinking, all right, well, we're okay. We've still got 2 of our squad, but for the majority, we have some very healthy teams at the moment. Like, most still have all 3. 8 players have been eliminated. Only 1 squad has gone down. So we're seeing, maybe 5 other teams that have lost a player. So everyone else in the lobby is going to have a full health squad. You can see that the circle just north of Fragment East here. And those teams that are all the way over to the west at Fragment West, well, that's going to be the hardest job for them. They're going to have to try and get over the bridge, over the lava, but they're going to be gate-kept completely, so they need to start making a game plan soon, whether that's a Wraith Portal, whether that's a Gibby Bubble. You just need to have something that's going to get you into this next circle. Or you have to push one of these teams that are close to you, take some kill points, take any sort of weaponry they have, any sort of ability to heal yourself up as well, and then maybe you can find your way into the circle once you pick some stuff up.
Yeah, well, Na'Vi have managed to pick up their first kill points of the game, and it's going to be onto Flavor of the Month. So, arguably the most aggressive team in the lobby lose that engagement and will be one of the first teams to drop as we see another battle going down here as Vibin, another team who were promoted from the Bravo division, are trying to get involved in the action, and they managed to sneak into the cafe here, which is, of course, going to be one of those areas which is inside that next circle, but it looks like they're going to have to try and fight for it. They have the bottom floor, but they're going to have to fight here for control of the total building.
Vibin actually had the most kills across both lobbies last week. They had 39 kills in total, but of course that was in the Bravo lobby. That is going to be a little bit different than this Alpha lobby. The Revenant has gone down at this point, so it's going to be up to the rest of the two players to try and do something. Arcstar is available just to try and gain a little bit of information, see if he can stun for his teammate to push in. But dead inside, they're down to 2 as well, so it's a 2v2 fight here. And there's the res. So now it's a 2v3, but they hear the res, so they are going to push up the stairs. They are going to get aggressive. DSBL goes down, but Stanny is able to heal, it looks like. He gets the bat off, and that is massive, Mark.
Yeah, Disbelief going down is going to be huge, and Sadyama here as the Watson is trying to do what he can to just slow this push down as we go back over to Nasky, Strafe, and Dell here, one of the only teams who do have some solid real estate to play with as far as a building is concerned, as in 14 seconds we are going to see round 4 close, and we're going to have to see some teams forced out of those buildings surrounding them, and for Nasky, Strafe, and Dell, they're just going to be using that scout, trying to pick off those players who are rotating in towards the circle as we're seeing all of the ults being used, all of the action now starting to kick off in the lobby.
Yeah, 7 squads are down now, just 13 remaining. BDS are looking to see if they can punish anyone who is going to be pushing into this circle, but Rimmer does have to be very careful here. Needs to make sure he's with his team. Gibraltar's going to be tagged down for 44, and now Nerzi, can he get any decent shots off with this Peacekeeper? Got plenty of bullets to work with, he's just going to bat up, but BDS are having to back off ever so slightly because they know they can be pushed from both angles at the moment, and they just need to find any cover that's possible.
We just went from 18 teams to 9 teams in around 20 seconds or so. So you can see how much action went down. The kill feed just appeared. It was almost as if I'd forgotten the kill feed existed until that point, but it lit up on the right-hand side of your screens as dead inside. They're inside, but they're not dead as yet. As Stanny, he's trying to get the revive on a teammate using that knockdown shield to his advantage to try and block that door, but here comes the push, so he's going to have to use that R9 to try and back that player off. And North, who have been sat up here on the top of this little crater on this top of this cliff around the epicenter part of the area, are in the perfect position to potentially not only pick up KP here, Dan, but looking at where that next circle is going, they are in prime position to win game number 1 here.
Yeah, definitely a game-winning position. As long as they don't get pushed from 2 teams at the same time, they need to, whilst lay down fire from this cliff, they just need to make sure that they don't put themselves in between 2 teams. So make yourselves known for sure, make it so it's not easy for anyone to push you, but at the same time, you don't want to leave yourself too vulnerable from either side. So they need to make sure they're just scouting both areas, as everyone else now just has to try and find their way into this circle. Nasky, Strafe, and Dell, they might have had an easy game so far, but now they're going to have to work their way into this circle. They are going to find themselves behind a rock here, but can they get seen from anyone else? It looks like they might be okay, so Dell is going to communicate to the teammate it should be okay to come through the portal, as we're down to just 5 squads now, Mark.
Yeah, you can see North here just commanding the map at the moment here on World's Edge, just working this high ground and trying to prevent any teams from pushing them. They got the Mastiff to work with. They got some pretty decent armors on their back as well, as Gambit are one of those teams who are managed to sneak their way into a position here in this next circle, but they're just coming under fire, and here comes the pressure from above as well. And for Artico and the Eva, he's going to have to do as much damage as he can to force that team off, and of course, that team is going to be North, but it's not going to be enough. North move in, take out Gambit, and that is going to be all the loot they could want moving towards this endgame.
Down to just 4, Alliance just down to just 1 member as well. North very much in the power position right now. Just the 1 elimination for our PR, but they have the vantage point, they have all of the sight lines, but they just need to decide when they're going to be pushing, because that circle is going to be coming in. Triumph have a lot of armor to work with, but they're just in one of the worst positions, the furthest point you could be away from the next circle. So they just need to choose their time effectively here. At least they have all 3 members.
Yeah, they have 3 members alive. I think one of those players you could see there was a rat as well, so a last player alive for one of the squads still involved. Triumph trying to do the damage that they can and essentially just trying to survive here for as long as they possibly can before maybe they look for a Wraith portal into an area where they can fight a little bit more successfully, but the game at the moment is in North's hands. Nasky, Strafe, and Dell, our top team from week number 1, still involved in this last 4 squads as well, but they're going to have to make their way across some open ground as well, probably into potentially the crosshairs of both Triumph and North.
Well, it was Alliance that had the rat that has gone down. Hacky's falls and down to just 3 now. So North will just wait at this point. The circle's coming in, and it is going to be like shooting fish in a barrel at this point. But there's going to be the fight down low. We knew this was a possibility. Nasky, Strafe, and Dow get involved with Triumph. Triumph should triumph over them, though. Some decent shots. One goes down, and how on earth are they doing this? JMW just about survives, but this is not going to be enough for them. The circle is going to come in. It's going to be champion for North. They didn't have to do anything at that point. They just sat and watched everything unfold. It was so easy. They had the position in the end. And what a game it was for North.
Hey, congratulations to North. They will win your game number 1 here in week 2. And of course, North coming from the Bravo division as well, Dan. So not a bad first game in the Alpha division for North. Congratulations to them. Fantastic stuff, holding down that fantastic position on that cliff on Epicenter. But that fight towards the end, it was always going to happen. North, as you say, just had to watch, just had to wait for those teams to engage as that circle was closing. And then it was just a case of moving in and finishing off those weak plays.
Yeah, North, they played it really well. As I said, when they found themselves in that position a little bit earlier, when there was still, 9 squads left, they could have got aggressive on a couple of teams, could have gone for kills.